students, welcome back to the video lecture series of Database Management System. Our today's topic is CORDS rule and the difference between DBMS and RDBMS. So this is the content. We will discuss both the topics. So let's start with our first topic, CORDS rule for RDBMS. Mr. Edgar Frank Code gave 13 rules for a DBMS to be qualified as RDBMS. So the numbering of these rules will start from 0 to 12. So these rules are the theoretical basis for relational database. According to him, if a database meets these rules, it can be called RDBMS. But unfortunately, none of the database which are present today doesn't follow all the rules. Even the Oracle follows only 8.5 CORDS rules. So the first rule is rule 0. This rule states that for a system to qualify as a RDBMS, it must be able to manage data entirely through the relational capabilities. So this was the foundation rule, and all the other rules are describing just this rule because some things are not very clear, like relational capabilities, what are it and how to describe relational capabilities. So all the other 12 rules will describe this complete scenario. So the first rule is information rule. All information including metadata is to be represented as stored data in cells of the table. The rows and the columns have to be strictly unordered. So whatever data you are storing in the relational database management system, that data should be in the form of the relation or a table. As you can see here, some data is being represented in the form of student table. This student table contains some rows and some columns. The columns or the attributes are roll number, name and age, and the tuples are there are two tuples. The first tuple contains the value for roll number is 201, for name the value is X, for age the value is 10. The second tuple is having roll number 202, the name is Y and the age is 12. So data should be in the form of row and column, and the place where the row and column will intersect is known as cell, and every cell will contain some value. And the ordering of these attributes and tuples will not affect anything. Second rule is guaranteed access rule. It says each unique piece of data, atomic value should be there. That particular value should not be divisible. Those type of values are known as atomic value. That should be accessible by. So every data which is present in relational database should be accessible with the help of table name, its primary key name, and its one of the attribute which you want to access. So whenever you are accessing some value from the relation, you need to know the name of the table and the primary key of that particular table, and with the help of that you can access any attribute. So the next rule is rule number 3, which is systematic treatment of null. So a null has several meanings. It can mean missing data, not applicable, or no value. So whenever you are not aware about the value what to be put, so you are putting null over there. It should be handled consistently. Primary key must not be null. So this is a very important rule. Primary key cannot contain null value. Expression on null must give null. So whatever arithmetic operation you are performing with null value, that will give you null always. Fourth rule is active online catalog. Database dictionary or catalog must have description of the data. Catalog to be governed by same rule as rest of the database. So what is basically data dictionary? It will contain all the information of the data, and catalog to be governed by same rule. The rules which is being followed by database, that should be followed by that particular data dictionary. The same query language to be used on catalog as an application database. So whatever the query language you are accessing for the you are using for accessing the database, the same language should be able to access the database dictionary data. Fifth rule is powerful language. So one well-defined language must be there to provide all manners of access to the data. So there should be at least one language which can help us to access the data from the relational database, like usually we are using SQL. If a file supporting table can be accessed by any manner except SQL interface, then it is a violation of this rule. So there should not be any other case. Rule number 6, view updation rule. All views that are theoretically updatable should be updatable by the system. So if some views are theoretically updatable, so that should be updatable by the all the authenticate users. Rule number 7 is relational label operation. There must be insert, delete, update operation at each level of relation. So it should allow all the operation like insertion, deletion and updation. Set operation like union, intersection and minus should be supported by the database. Rule number 8, physical data independency. The physical storage of the data should not matter to the system. That means if I am changing some disk or transferring data from one physical storage to other physical storage, so that should not affect the accessing of the data to my user. So rule number 9 is logical data independency. If there is a change in the logical structure of the database, the user view of the data should not change. Suppose if you are splitting a particular table or you are joining two tables, then that particular thing should not affect the view to the user. So but this is very difficult to achieve in database. Rule number 10. Rule number 10 says integrity independency. The database should be able to enforce its own integrity rather than using other programs. Key and check constraint, trigger, etc. should be stored in data dictionary. This also makes RDBMS independent of front end. So whatever the integrity constraint you are applying, whatever the check constraint, whatever the referential integrity constraint you are applying on the database, that should be able to apply by the user. So but that should not affect the front users or end users. Next, 11th rule is distribution independence. A database should work properly regardless of its distribution across a network. This lays foundation of distributed database. That means if I am working on a network in the global time, if we are working on a network and the database is distributed, then that should work as it is working in the centralized mode. Rule number 12 and the last rule is non-subversion rule. If low-level access is allowed to a user, it should not be able to subvert or bypass integrity rule to the changed data. This can be achieved by some sort of looking or encryption. If you are allowing some user even to the low-level use, even after that particular user should not affect the integrity rule or check constraint or trigger rules. You can ensure it by encryption and other rules as well. So next topic is what is the difference between DBMS and RDBMS. So DBMS is a software that is used to define, create and maintain a database and provide controlled access to the data. And what is RDBMS? It is just an advanced version of database management system. So database management system will maintain the database, it will manage the database, it will control it, and RDBMS is just an advanced version of it. So there are some difference between them. These are the key difference. So the first one is DBMS stores data as a file. RDBMS stores data in table format. DBMS element needs to be accessed individually. Multiple data element can be accessed at the same time in RDBMS. In DBMS, no relationship between the data, but in RDBMS, data is stored in the form of tables which are related to each other. So in DBMS, that is not important if there is any relationship exists between the data, but in RDBMS there should always be relationship between the data. Normalization is not present, that's why so much redundancy found in DBMS, but in RDBMS normalization is present. DBMS does not support distributed database, but RDBMS support distributed database, so you can access your database over the network as well. DBMS store data in either navigational or hierarchical format. In RDBMS, data is represented in the form of relation, that is in the form of rows and columns. DBMS deals with a small quantity of the data, but RDBMS can handle large amount of data. So this is a very good property of RDBMS. So in DBMS, data redundancy is very much common, but in RDBMS, we can handle the data redundancy to a level, not completely, but to a level with the help of keys and indexes. In the in DBMS, it is used for small organization and it deals with small data, but RDBMS can deal with large data, so it can be used by big organization as well. DBMS supports single user access, but RDBMS support multi-user access as well. In DBMS, data fetching is slower for the large amount of data, but RDBMS can handle large amount of data, so the data fetching is easier in RDBMS. In DBMS, the data in DBMS is subject to low security levels with regards to data manipulation, but in RDBMS, multiple level of security exist. So that is also very secure. In DBMS, low software and hardware necessities, but RDBMS required higher software and hardware necessities. So there are various examples of DBMS like XML, Microsoft Access, and for RDBMS, one of the best example is Oracle. Other example are MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server. So these are some database used by big organizations. So we have summarized these two topics, course rule and DBMS versus RDBMS. So thank you so much for your patience. Keep connecting.